I've been recently following this artist named Dee-1 Music, who's actually a phenomenal rap artist, and he creates great music. But as I was scrolling onto his page the other day, he actually brought to light a very, very specific topic that I've been having a discussion with for people over years. Let's watch what he says, and then I want to continue to break this down a little bit more because I think it's so applicable with not only the work that I do, but also the children that you're raising. Let's watch.
I don't care what impact this having on y'all community. It's a business.
Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying
it's opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
So what's one of the most disturbing things about this part of the video is that this guy, Leor Cohen, is actually an executive or entertainment executive. And what he says in this video is pretty clear. He says, look, at the end of the day, it comes down to talent over the issues. What he's basically saying is like, look, if a person is talented, if they can rap, if they can sing, whatever it is, I care more about that than what they're actually singing about. But why is that important for you, the listener or the viewer of this video? It's important because these kids are so easily influenced by what's in the music. I speak in schools on a regular. And when I go to schools, I sit down and talk to principals. I sit down and talk to teachers. I sit down and talk to the students. And some of the issues that's plaguing them are kids that are selling drugs we're talking about 10, 11, 12 years old. I don't even know if you realize this, but if you go on Snapchat and these kids have these pills next to their thing, that probably means that they're a pill pusher, meaning they're selling pills. These kids are doing this at such a young age. Well, where do you think they learn a lot of this stuff from? And two, where do you think they're sensationalized by this stuff? Sensationalized by it through the music. When we're talking about pill popping and doing all these different things, it's occurring all the time in the music. So now what I want to do is I want to watch another part or another video that Dee-1 Music had put out kind of addressing some of these issues. But what he does is he starts to call out some of these mainstream rappers that have been doing this for years. Now, keep in mind, I actually know a few mainstream rappers. They're good friends of mine. But at the end of the day, my job is to kind of bring light and bring clarity as to how we can provide better solutions to our communities, which ultimately is going to impact our kids. So let's watch what Dee-1 says next, and let's see whether or not we agree with what he says. Let's watch.
What happened to all the major labels? Make sure y'all listen to this. What happened to all the major labels who pledged millions and millions of dollars after George Floyd got killed?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh man, this is such a travesty. All right, cool. That was a PR move for them labels because now 3 years later, them labels are back to pushing and promoting and funding the creation of murder music.
Yeah.
But as soon as George Floyd got killed, it was the proper PR move to say we as such and such records and we as such and such records stand behind the black community. No, y'all
wait,
stand.
hold on. We as such and such radio station.
We as such and such
radio
Come on,
stations.
man.
We as such and such app.
Come on, man.
We the such and such.
The whole industry, bro.
Yeah,
the whole industry. So I'm in this industry, but I'm not of this industry, man. And that's a threat to people. And I'm fearless. You heard me? I'm fearless because I don't need y'all money. The real one's gonna rock with me.
You know what I love he says most in that statement is that he says, I'm in this industry, but I'm not of this industry. I almost kind of look at it, my role the same way. I'm in law enforcement, but I'm not of law enforcement, meaning that law enforcement is not my identity. I just made a video about that the other day about law enforcement not being my identity. But what's even bigger about this, he brings up a relevant point. And what he's talking about is when George Floyd was killed, we saw so much, uproar across the country. After that situation happened, everybody was up in arms about how do we bring light to not only repairing the relationship between law enforcement and the community, but also how do we end violence or how do we curb violence? And so everybody was making a pact like, we want to reduce violence, we want to reduce hate, we want to reduce all this other stuff. But if you look back now, a lot of it was a PR stunt in many ways. They canceled shows, they canceled people if they didn't get behind this initiative. And now that it's kind of gotten swiped under the rug, now people don't even say anything about it. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you listen to the music, if you listen to rap music, a lot of rap music nowadays, It's so violent. It's so derogatory. I mean, you have women on there degrading themselves, talking about how they don't mind going out there and sleeping with all these men. You have rappers talking about pushing drugs and doing drugs. You even have rappers talking about, glorifying suicide. The music that is in the airstream right now is so toxic to the young minds. It is so toxic. It's scary. And so we're fighting a battle right now. I don't know if you realize this, but one of the number one leading causes of death of our young people right now is death by suicide. That is one of the number one leading causes of death right now is death by suicide. And so we're sitting here wondering, why are our kids taking their lives? What's going on with them? But we are also not contributing to making better solutions simply because we're allowing certain music and certain things to be publicized because we care about the talent more than we actually care about the issues. So now what I want to do is I'm going to actually play another video. Now this is from a mainstream rapper who's been around for a long time. He's actually combating what Dee-1 Music is saying, and I want to see whether or not what he's saying is right or wrong. Let's watch.
I really do a lot for the people.
Mm-hmm. He talked about lyrics.
I don't care about none of that.
Okay.
In real life, I do a lot for the people. Miss me with the rhetoric about what I do in my music. I get money off my music. Don't tell me how to make my dollars. You gotta watch whose names you mentioning out here.
Mm-hmm.
You heard?
Yeah.
Because my little cousin might not like how you mention my name. You heard? And then he might want to slap a dread out your head just because he don't understand that you using my name for fame and he don't understand that.
Yeah.
There's a certain way to go about certain things when you're using certain people's name. When you do certain things, it's a reaction for every action.
What's the best way?
It's out now. It ain't no best way to have a conversation. He got to see me when he see me.
Violence.
Okay.
You heard?
If he reached out,
He had the chance. He could have reached out. That avenue of talking to me is out.
That's out.
You heard? I had the same conversation with Farrakhan.
How did that go?
He summoned me for saying his name.
Oh, okay.
heard?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
If you know now what you're talking about, young man, let me school you to what you're doing. Well, yeah, it is music. So in a bit of music, you do get you get what you get, you heard? But we're still in the entertainment business. But miss me with the bullshit, you heard? When you see me, keep your hand down, you heard? Where you from, New Orleans?
Promote
Don't
violence.
play with me like that. People from New Orleans already called me, you heard?
All right, so one of the things, the last things I want to address about this video is like, okay, so he's saying, Jim Jones is saying he does a lot of work in his communities, which if he does, kudos to him. You know, doing work in your communities, doing work in the schools, I think all that stuff is important. But he's saying that his music is his music. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, it's an entertainment business. But I want to really highlight something. How valuable is the words you really say then? If you ask me, your words are extremely valuable. Think about it like this. Like, think about how much money companies will pay influencers to advertise for their brand. Hey, we'll pay you X amount of dollars because we want you to represent our brand. Why do they pay that much money for people to advertise their brand? Think about commercials. Think about how much it costs for a commercial spot on the Super Bowl. Why are we paying this much money for people to rep these brands? The reason why is because these people have influence. And so when you say certain things, when these people say certain words or when they're promoting certain things, it's influential and it causes other people to be influenced. That's why they're called influencers. And so we cannot undervalue or underestimate the power of our words. So when we are in these rap songs talking about we're killing this person, we're killing that person, we're pushing this drug, we're pushing that drug, we're doing fentanyl or, all these other things, why are we so surprised when the number one statistic or the number one killer for our young people is death by suicide? That's what's like so infuriating to me. So I kudos to Dee-1 Music for being able to call this out. Again, I know people in entertainment industries, but at the end of the day, it comes down to, are we doing the right things for the right reasons? And yeah, I know you have the family to feed. Yeah, I know you got to provide for your family, but there's other ways. If you have talent as a rapper, then there's ways that you can make money without having to continue to influence or push this narrative or push this agenda that is really killing our young people. There's other ways that you can utilize your giftings without having to encourage a message that is, number one, is demonic, but number two, it's very, very disparaging, especially to the minority community, because we wonder why we have all these systematic problems, but yet we continue to push the systematic issues that have been around forever. So I really thought this was a very, very interesting conversation. The reason it's so important to me is because I'm around young people all the time. And when I go into these presentation halls to give a presentation, and I see them walking in depressed and struggling from anxiety and looking for Xanax or looking for Oxycontin or looking for a vape pen or looking for this, even my own kids, I'm afraid for them because they're growing up with this mentality. And so that's why now, like, me and my wife, we're very, very careful on what we allow them to listen to. We're very, very careful of what we put in front of their minds, because we know how malleable they are. They were so young. They are so influenced. And right now, we have to take control of our families. We have to grab a grip of our families and prevent them from being influenced by people that don't care about nothing else other than just making money and putting food on their family's table. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below, because this is a very, very trending topic. And if we want to save our children, we have to get our hands dirty in the trenches so that way we can save them.